Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and I welcome both you and your ears to an episode of Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. In case you're wondering who Angie is, I'm Angie, and I'm super stoked to spend some time sharing with y'all some of my experiences and thoughts on living, loving, music, and space travel, or spiritual experiences as I often refer to as space travel. A rather broad spectrum, right? Well, my hope is to always share something that resonates with, intrigues, excites, or perhaps inspires you. On that note, I invite you to sit back, buckle up, and take a little trip out into the cosmos with me. Hey, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, coming to you with episode number 9 on my podcast, Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. And this week, the topic that I'm going to be focusing on is letting go. I'm going to jump right in. Letting go. What a concept. I don't know how y'all feel about it out there, but it's definitely been a pretty challenging practice for me. I'm really grateful to be aware of it and understand that letting go is an option, but there was definitely a time, a good portion of my life, where I didn't know anything about letting go. On last week's episode, I mentioned my gratitude for, the place that has the most listeners, at least the most downloads in the United States so far. And I think I gave kudos to the state of Washington. Well, no offense to the state of Washington, but it was actually peeps in the state of Oregon. And so I need to correct myself. I thought about it a lot this week. I had to let go of that. I made a mistake. I erred. I am human, and yet I can be incredibly tough on myself. And so this concept of letting go, it really fits into every facet of my life. As mentioned, the topics that I kind of focus on or relate other topics to are life, love, music, and space travel. And I'll talk about, I think, all 4 of those tonight in relation to letting go. I have mentioned many times on my previous episodes that I'm a gal in recovery. I like to say I'm on a journey of recovery and self-discovery, and it's been quite a journey. Prior to my embarking on that journey, much against my will, it was a necessary factor. I didn't just one day say, I think I'm going to change my life today and quit drinking and using whatever outside recreational things I was using. That's not the way it happened. It was a necessary act that needed to take place. I needed to get rid of some things. I needed to let go of some things. And those were scary times. I remember thinking about just putting the drink down and not knowing how I was ever going to go to a live concert again. How was I ever going to see live music again? Oh my goodness. I didn't even know what to do. I was in my head. My brain was spinning. I was afraid. The last thing I wanted to do was change. From that point on, I have sort of immersed myself in the many different options out there to embrace in regards to recovery. And quite a bit of the information that I've received over the years is focused on really letting go. Once I decide or find that I need to put some things down or make some changes, letting go becomes a pretty necessary factor in how I deal with that. I don't know. It's definitely been a process. Flashing into the present moment, thank goodness for books like The Untethered Soul. I've mentioned quite a few times. I actually just finished reading it, Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul, and it was so much about letting go of my reaction to things and not resisting life as it's coming to me, allowing things to flow through. Man, I kind of like this getting older thing because things definitely are getting easier mentally. Things get easier mentally. They don't get easier physically, that's for sure. The body definitely is a bit challenged. Somebody asked me, what my favorite thing was about getting older, and I said it's the mental factor. I kind of care less about things. I'm much more capable of handling and feeling and all of that stuff. And they said, what's your least favorite thing? And I said, oh, definitely the physical aspect of it. My body hurts. I can't tolerate things nearly for as long. I'm still a waitress and those plates are heavy, and walking up the stairs and staying up late, all that kind of stuff. Kind of getting back to the letting go deal life. I have made it through a lot of pretty heavy challenges in the last year. It was not easy, as I mentioned. I mean, kind of going way back. Yeah, it was not easy to let go of the drink. Putting that down and actually feeling as exposed and vulnerable as ever without something to kind of cover up or mask who Angie was has been a pretty cool journey. It's been a slow process. My journey of recovery has been messy. Putting down the drink was the first thing that I did, and then I put down a lot of other stuff over the years. But the life area that began my letting go process, letting go of the relationship that I was in, eventually letting go of my job that time. That was a long time ago, 2000. It's been almost 22 years, and so much has happened between then and now. Letting go, to me looks like exposing myself to change. And who the hell wants to change? But it's gotten easier in some ways. I just, I've said it repeatedly on my episodes, letting go. I let go of my marriage. I had to let go of my house, my best friend, my community for the last 17 years, my jobs, my home state. I had to let go of what I felt like was everything. I'm still not exactly sure of the lesson learned in all of that, but it was not what I wanted to do. And so when I think of letting go, I think of letting go with claw marks. And I've heard it said, let go or be dragged. And these last few years, I allowed myself to be dragged. I did not want to let go of my house. I did not want to change. I did not want to move from Colorado. I love my parents. I love the ocean, but I did not want to move out of the known comfort, even though it was incredibly dysfunctional and painful and toxic and not good for me. I was, even with all of my recovery and the knowledge that I've gained and the work that I've done on myself, letting go did not come easy. So that's another big point I'd like to stress is, as I talk about letting go, I don't think anyone, at least I know, I'm surely not good at it, but I'm much more open to it to a certain extent. I had been praying to whatever was out there to please help me let go, while also praying to please help me stay where I was so that I could somehow work out my little plans and designs and get life to work the way I wanted it to. And it really hasn't been. I've now been in North Carolina. I was in Colorado for 27 years. I've now been in North Carolina for almost 4 months. This Wednesday will be 4 months for the most part since I left. And I'm just now feeling the results of continued willingness to let go. There's relief. I don't really have feel this pull to go backwards to the way things were. I am letting go of my perspective on how things were, my belief in the way I thought things were supposed to be, and sitting in a place of acceptance around the way things are. That requires a lot of mental letting go for me. Life is generally not the way I want it to be, and people are not doing what I want them to do. And that causes me a rather large amount of discomfort. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one there, but that's the way life is. I recently had to take my little dude to the vet. Woke up, his lip was all swollen, or actually I came home from work one night, got home around midnight. His lip was all swollen. I don't know what happened. And I took him to the vet the next morning, and I was worried. I didn't know what was going on. He's older. He's almost 14. And I thought, good golly, what's going to happen now? But I practiced the tools I've been presented with, kept my heart open. I have mentioned it many times, the untethered soul. It's been very helpful for me in this process of not resisting, allowing life to come at me and pass through me, the good and the bad. And so instead of being a ball of fear and sadness and worry, I was able to take him to the vet. We figured it out, got some medicine for him, and I kind of think it was a bug bite. He hasn't died yet at this point, which will happen someday because none of us here get out alive, that's for sure. But man, what would have been at one time in my life like the end of the world, I would have made myself sick thinking of all the terrible possibilities, all of the things that could happen. That doesn't do any good. I mean, my goodness, it just makes me sick. And so instead, it was a pretty uneventful deal. We came home, got some medicine, and things got better pretty immediately. I'm just grateful to have a willingness to use these tools and really to be open to the concept that I have options. I can stay stuck and be holding on. And as mentioned, I do hold on. Claw marks in things. And that's okay. I just don't hold on as long as I used to. I'm at least aware that I'm holding on. The letting go is a practice that I need to enact in all kinds of things. I had a work situation recently that I had to let go of, kind of worrying about other people's reaction. I was requesting, a particular schedule, and I'm nobody special. I'm new there. Because of where I am in my life, I am looking to work a particular schedule. I was willing to help. They need help. Everybody needs help. My goodness, we're all short-staffed, and the work world is definitely not what it used to be. I feel like waiting server positions used to be hard to get. Not anymore. And I think that's with all kinds of jobs. Everybody needs help. But I was required to sort of request again and just kind of speak up for what it is that I'm looking for. And then I had to let go of the reaction of what might happen and be willing and open-minded to making some different decisions. And that shit is uncomfortable. I don't want to upset anybody or have to make different challenging choices. I like where I am, but I do need to stay open. What does letting go look like to y'all? This is the question portion of the podcast. What does letting go look like to you? I'm going to read something. I have a favorite daily reader, The Language of Letting Go. It's by Melody Beatty, and it is just a daily reader. It's a Hazelden meditation series. It's great. It's really all kinds of based on codependency and that kind of stuff, but it has some spectacular information in it. And this is from July 27th. Letting go. Stop trying so hard to control things. It is not our job to control people, outcomes, circumstances, life. Maybe in the past we couldn't trust and let things happen, but we can now. The way life is unfolding is good. Let it unfold. Stop trying so hard to do better. Be more. Who we are and the way we do things is good enough for today. Who we were and the way we did things yesterday was good enough for that day. Ease up on ourselves. Let go. Stop trying so hard. And the thought for the day with that is, today I will let go. I will stop trying to control everything. I will stop trying to make myself be and do better. And I will let myself be. And I'm going to use that in direct relation to this podcast. I feel like already it's all over the place. As usual, I've been sitting in front of the computer for a few hours, unprepared, at the last minute. My desire has been to release my episodes on Tuesdays, and I don't know why I've been sitting around waiting, not prepared for anything prior to sitting down in front of the computer 2 hours ago. It's now 11:45 p.m., almost midnight, and I don't know what this episode's going to sound like. I'll know when I start to do my editing process and have to listen to myself, but I'm going to let go. I'm going to let go and just get her done. I think about like the love section, letting go in love. Oh my goodness, that's incredibly challenging. Incredibly challenging. As mentioned, I am divorced. My ex-husband and I, neither of us got married to get divorced. And I think it was the most challenging thing to let go of each other. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to end. And it was really just because things I know were terrible for both of us that I just continued to stay aware to the understanding that what we were doing was not working. But letting go of that has been the most challenging experience of my life thus far, I think. This is not the way I expected it to play out. Letting go of love has not been easy. But I can see now, from the perspective of hindsight, that we're in the best position we've been with each other in a long time. And so perhaps what I want and the way I want things to be is not the best. And so I'm continuing to stay open-minded. Love. I mean, I am in this place right now where I would very much like to have a relationship, somebody to do something with, somebody to spend some time with. There's some vulnerability, somebody to go walk on the beach. Friends, of course, I do have friends, but yeah, I would like a loving relationship, a companion with a man. And I'm aware that it will happen eventually. And so I'm letting go of my desires, my willful desires, just for today. What good is it going to do to be longing for anything at midnight when I'm by myself? Maybe tomorrow we'll see what happens, but I'm just grateful that I can use this tool at all times. Oh, this sends me right into, the concept of letting go just comes in so many different forms. I recently let go with music. I mentioned on my last episode, I went to see Britt Floyd at the Wilson Center in downtown Wilmington, front row center seats, and I sat back and closed my eyes and let go. And that was something that I could not do before, especially when I was drinking and partying, and I was either drugged up, drunked up, or blacked out or something like that. Never really feeling the music at the level of really letting go, letting the music flow. I have been to some spectacular live music performances over these last 22 years, and a few of them have been standing at Red Rocks, quite often all the way up at the top, and just letting the music flow through me. Oh my goodness, really feeling it. That is a letting go that's definitely very much worth practicing. And I look forward to what's to come, especially Jazz Fest this weekend. You guys are probably tired of hearing about it, but I can hardly wait to put out some episodes directly from Jazz Fest at the end of the night. That's my goal, to put something out at the end of the night and fill you in on whatever took place, and maybe you can get your musical fix through me. Yeah, it's quite a journey. When I think of letting go, generally what comes to mind also is letting go of resentment, anger, fear, worry, letting go of control. I have some things going on in my life right now that I have zero control over. People, places, and things. Yeah. Anyone in the recovery world is familiar with those ideas, but that's serious shit. I don't have control over people, places, and things. I don't have control over the reaction of others. And I find some freedom in that. So it allows me to perhaps say things that I feel I need to say, whether they're helpful or not. I can do or not do things in this life based on what I think the other person's reaction might be to it. And that's not healthy. I have a desire today to be able to speak freely or not speak, to do or not to do, and because of the way I feel and not because of how I think the other person is going to react to it. And that will lead me into, I've pulled out the good old Poddecks. I've mentioned that quite a few times. I'm going to put it out on every episode. Poddecks. It is an app that you can download, Poddecks. I think there's a free version or a free option for it, but you can also buy the actual Poddecks cards, and they're conversation starters. There's all kinds of different topics, and they ask all kinds of questions. And so one of the questions, I think it might have been in the emotional growth section, or sobriety or something like that. But there's all kinds of things, topics on many, many different things. What's the best advice you've ever gotten? It's going to fit in very well with this topic. The best advice I think I've really ever gotten was, what other people think of me is none of my business. I walked around this life doing, as mentioned, or not doing things because of what I thought the other person wanted, needed, expected, how they would react. Would they leave me? That's been a very interesting piece to my most recent divorce. I've mentioned it also. I very much still love my ex-husband. He's very dear to me. I think he always will be. But I'm in a place today where I'm not afraid to say things to him for the most part that I feel like I need to say anyway, because he can't really take anything else away from me. I'm not afraid of losing anything. I already lost him. And although that seems like maybe a sad place to be, there's a lot of freedom in that. Whatever he thinks of me is none of my business. And so we've had some really interesting conversations. Politics. Him and I are on the opposite end generally. Actually, I think we're these days much closer in our political where we stand. He might be surprised by that. I might be surprised by that. But I mean, that idea of not, I'll say it, kind of just not giving a shit about what other people think of me. Sometimes I have to get really harsh on that. What they think is none of my business. And which was sort of like my standing up and just, again, requesting for a particular schedule at work. I want the job. I like the job. And I have a few listeners from work who may be listening to this, and they know I'm really enjoying where I am. I enjoy my coworkers, but I know that I have to take care of Angie. Yes, I'm talking about myself in the third person. I have to take care of Angie. And so I had to ask for something, even though I was afraid of their reaction to a certain extent. And instead, it didn't turn out the way I thought it would, or feared it would. I got the schedule that I hoped for this week, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for them. I'm also going to say what makes a question that came up in Poddecks, a question that came up was, what makes growing challenging? And for me, letting go is, oh my goodness, it's directly connected to growth. That's why I don't like it. Change. When I let go, I take my hands off, and all of a sudden I'm out into the universe, detached, and that I am not holding onto the steering wheel. I'm allowing myself to be open to whatever the plan is for me, whatever opportunities are waiting for me that I am blocking out of my desire to have life be the way that I want it to be. That fear of change is what makes growing challenging. And I know that it's possible still to grow even with all that fear, because I'm in the midst of it. What have I learned? That's a question, what have I learned about myself in the last year? I recently got a tattoo, so I'm going to move into the space travel because that's a really appropriate section right now. I have talked as well about my experience with ketamine infusions. This last year being incredibly challenging. Last summer was the darkest summer of my life. Please feel free to Google ketamine infusions related to treatment-resistant depression, trauma, PTSD. My experience with using the ketamine infusions as an option to work through my depression and PTSD and trauma stuff has been life-changing. And so when I went for my first infusion, when my dad came to pick me up, we actually went out, had some food, and I ended up getting a tattoo. So my long-winded response to what have I learned about myself in the last year, that day I got a tattoo that said, I am courageous, I am worthy, I am enough. That's what I've learned about myself in the last year. I am courageous, and I'm not all about like patting myself on the back and all ego-filled. I like to think I am trying to practice to be a human being with humility. Some days I feel better about myself. Some days I feel worse. Whatever. Generally, I'm in the middle somewhere. But I can say with a surety that I am courageous, I am worthy, and I am enough. And I'm grateful for that knowledge that's been gained. And so this coming week, on April 20th of all days, I'm actually going in for my 9th infusion. And it's been 4 months, and I feel like I'm ready for a booster. Once again, I'm doing this with my doctor's support, my family support, and the 9th infusion, I feel like I'm ready for a booster. I'm going to the Future Psych Ketamine Clinic in South Myrtle Beach. I don't know if it's South Myrtle Beach or Myrtle Beach, but it's on Wednesday, 4/20. And I'm very much looking forward to a little bit of letting go time, feeling some relief, and giving myself, I suppose, the medicine that I need. Taking a little bit of a trip out into outer space. It's not necessarily just all good times by any means, but for myself, I have found quite a bit of relief, and there is letting go that comes with it. I look forward to telling you how my experience goes next week. It'll definitely be a mention on there for sure. What else have I got? Life is going along pretty, quote, swimmingly for the most part. I can't really complain about too much. I did have the opportunity to talk to somebody today about letting go, with the understanding that it's incredibly uncomfortable and requires a lot of desperation, I think, almost, at least for me. I kind of have to be desperate in a way at times to let go. Having to move out of the house, possibly being homeless, asking for help, homeless for a little bit, but asking for help does not come easy. And yet asking for help is a pretty intense act of letting go of control, thinking that I need to take care of all this stuff on my own. I need to do it by myself. I can't let anybody know that I don't have it all together. I mean, I believe we're all on the planet because we're here to help each other. And I need to go face to face with some people. I met up with some friends tonight and talked pretty honestly about the moments that I'm feeling kind of off balance. If I didn't have those people to talk to, I don't know where I'd be. So I'm grateful for that desperate moment back in December 19th of 2000, when I very begrudgingly conceded to the idea that I needed to make some changes. My life is going to be filled with more changes. I know that. When I leave here in a couple weeks to head to New Orleans for Jazz Fest, there's going to be a lot of letting go feelings, or there's going to be a lot of need to let go, and there's going to be a lot of feelings around it. Leaving my dogs for a week, thank goodness I get to leave them with mom and dad, but leaving them is not easy for me. They're my babes, and I worry about them. I love them. Getting on the plane, I bought tickets through Hopper and Kiwi. You don't buy tickets the way you used to. Getting on a plane is a ton of letting go for me. Flying through the sky, for goodness sakes, that's still just an amazing process. That big metal tube taking off the ground and heading into space. Oh my goodness. What a trip this earthly experience is. And thank goodness for the comedic moments. I'm going to lighten things up a little bit. I've generally been talking about what book I'm listening to. I've been listening to a lot of stuff. I love audiobook. I do. I love audiobooks. Audible is my streaming service. I do listen to Spotify also, and listen to actually that's where I listen to podcasts and music especially, but Audible is the app that I use for my audiobooks. And I just started listening to one of David Spade's memoirs. I'll call it a memoir, autobiography. A Polaroid guy in a Snapchat world. He is fucking funny. I really do enjoy that funny guy. And I have been cracking up, and I'm grateful for, comedy. I'm grateful for the lighter moments. Life is heavy and it's very challenging and rather overwhelming. And so I'm incredibly grateful for those who lighten the load and offer humor. Laughter is truly one of the best medicines. So if you feel like, if you're into David Spade, he's not everybody's guy, I'm pretty sure, but if you're into him, then please, I highly suggest A Polaroid Guy in a Snapchat World. Well worth the listen so far. I'm almost finished with it also. So I've jabbered on a little bit. I feel like maybe I've gone through most of my readings, touched on pretty much all of the things that I wanted to touch on. And I'm hoping that perhaps I provided some hope. I guess maybe that's how I'll finish things off. Letting go has been one of the greatest tools that I have gained the willingness to participate with. It's moment by moment. I mean, here I am in a place I never thought I'd end up. Actually, I really did want to be in North Carolina more. I wanted to spend more time with my parents, but I did not expect it to come in the package of divorce and house gone and life in Colorado over, at least for now. But that's the way it is. This is where I am. And today I had a great day. Mom and I went to Costco and did some shopping. Got a great shake from Cookout. That's one of the places that I'm pretty excited to have around here. I haven't tried much of their food, but I mean, there's so many options here. We did not have all these options in Eagle, Colorado, but I had a delicious shake, triple berry, banana berry shake from Cookout, and watched some TV. Yeah, it was really a good day. And had I not let go, I could be back in a very unfortunate, unhealthy situation. I don't know how life is going to play out. But for any of y'all who are out there fearful of letting go of your loved ones, trying hard to fix them, change them, help them, step back, invite the universe in, and remember that they have something looking out for them also. The journey is about growing, and we have a lot of choices and a lot of options, and letting go is one of them. Even if it comes with claw marks. Even if it comes with claw marks, try it out anyway. See how it works for you. Please feel free and send me a message if you want at ashysbadass@gmail.com. Let me know some of your tools for letting go. What does it look like to you? How do you handle letting go? I'm going to finish this up with another reading. It's called Fuck Stress. Tips and advice on how to banish anxiety from your life. I don't know if it'll really banish that or get rid of all of it. It's by Alex Martin. And this is from page 79. It actually starts off with, it says, "You're a fucking hero. Stop for 1 fucking second. Taking care of yourself is your most important job. So if you feel the need to pare your responsibilities back in order to recharge, do it. You can take a break anytime for a second, a minute, an hour, or a week. The world won't end, and you will make up the time. Take time to fill yourself up with peaceful activities that restore your energy and enthusiasm, making you feel calm, rested, and ready for anything." Connect that with letting go in relation to the idea of let go of thinking that you have to get it right, that you have to fix it, change it, that you have to be in charge. Even if just for a second, let yourself float and embrace the guidance of the universe. I don't know what y'all's belief system is out there, but I think there's something watching, guiding, helping, available. Take the fingernails out of the leather for just a second and let yourself enjoy the ride 1 second at a time. On that note, I think I'm going to close it out. I'm going to let go. And I'm going to let go thinking about what y'all might think of this episode. I'm a work in progress. I appreciate everybody for listening, spending time with me, Maybe I'll see some of y'all at Podfest in Orlando. I am going to that and I'm pretty excited. If for some reason I bump into any of y'all, let's be nice to each other. No freaky deaky anything. I'm looking to make friends, and I would love to hear from anybody out there on the planet. I think I saw that somebody from Sri Lanka might have listened to one of my episodes. I think we're cool. We're cool earthlings floating around on this orb in the middle of the universe. Just that thought alone, gives me a real opportunity to let go from what a crazy deal this earthly experience is. Anyway, that's what I've got for this week. I hope y'all have a fabulous week. As always, thanks for listening. And until we meet again, bye. So we've reached the end of today's episode. Thanks so very much for listening. It's now time to reconnect to planet Earth and all that comes with living on the blue ball. I'd love to hear your ideas for future episode topics, along with any and all positive and/or constructive feedback. Please feel free to contact me at ashysbadass@gmail.com. Thanks again for spending some time with me and allowing me to share myself with you. Until next time, please be gentle with yourselves, be kind to animals, and do all you can to allow your authentic selves to shine brightly.